Dear girls, let's really talk about something many of you have either experienced or seen happen to someone close to you. It starts with a message, a compliment, a few sweet words. A boy promises the stars, the moon, forever loving. For a moment it feels real, but soon those promises turn into pain. It often starts with words that feel like sunshine on a cloudy day. Compliments that melt your heart. Messages that make your day brighter. You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I've never felt this way about anyone before. These words feel magical, especially when you're craving connection or understanding. But sometimes, behind those sweet words lies a hidden agenda: not love. Words are powerful. They can heal, inspire, and uplift. But they can also manipulate, confuse, and blind. When someone learns how to use the right phrases at the right time, they can make you believe anything. And that's where the danger lies, because some boys use words not to express truth, but to gain trust without ever earning it. Many girls fall in love with what they hear before they even see who a boy really is. They fall for the idea, not the reality. The boy might say, "You're different, you're special," or "I've never opened up like this before." While those words sound sincere, they are often repeated lines used on more than one girl. It's not always genuine, it can be a performance. Sweet talkers know how to read your emotions. They watch your reactions and learn what to say next. They might pretend to share your values or talk about future plans that mirror your dreams, just to create a false sense of alignment. But it's all an illusion designed to win your heart quickly, so they don't have to put in real effort. What makes sweet words so dangerous is that they bypass your logic. They appeal to your emotions, which are powerful and deeply human. Once your heart gets involved, you start to make excuses for red flags. You overlook inconsistencies. You ignore your intuition. And that's when manipulation works best, when you're emotionally invested in someone who isn't truly invested in you. These words often come in abundance early on love bombing. They flood your mind with attention and affection until it becomes addictive. You feel chosen, seen, adored. But as time passes, the sweetness fades, the calls slow down, the energy shifts, and you're left wondering what changed, when the truth is nothing was real to begin with. A boy who has pure intentions will not rely on words alone to impress you. He will show you respect, loyalty, and effort consistently. But a boy with a hidden motive will overcompensate with charm in the beginning, hoping that you'll become emotionally attached before he ever has to prove anything. It's not about what they say, it's about what they do when no one's watching. So don't let your guard down just because someone knows how to talk sweet. Listen, yes, but also watch. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. Evaluate consistency over compliments. Because the right words from the wrong person can cost you more than you ever imagined. False promises are like a tempting mirage in the desert. They look so real from a distance, but as you get closer, you realize they are empty and unfulfilling. It starts with bold declarations, words like, "I'll never leave you," "I'll always be here for you," or "You're the one I want forever." These promises may feel comforting in the moment, but if they come too quickly or too easily, they should raise alarm bells. The truth is, people who are serious about relationships don't rush into grand promises. They know that love isn't built on declarations alone. It takes time, patience, and mutual understanding to build something solid. Yet, when a boy promises you the moon on your first few dates or after just a few conversations, it's not a sign of commitment, it's a manipulation tactic. He's trying to lock you in before you realize what's actually happening. What makes these promises so dangerous is that they prey on your desire for security and love. You want to believe in them. You want to trust that this person sees the real you and that they mean every word they say. But if their promises don't match their actions, it's a red flag. No one can offer forever after only knowing you for a short period. True commitment is demonstrated by actions, not rushed promises. False promises are also often used as tools of control. A boy might say, I promise I'll change, or I'll do anything to make you happy when he knows he's messed up. But without genuine effort to change and improve, these promises are just a way to manipulate you into staying, giving him more chances, or lowering your expectations. It becomes a cycle of unmet promises that leaves you emotionally drained. Another concerning sign of false promises is inconsistency. One day he promises you the world, and the next, he disappears, leaving you wondering if you misunderstood. If someone truly means what they say, their actions will be in alignment with their words. A boy who is serious about you won't disappear for days without an explanation, and he won't leave you hanging. Promises made in the heat of the moment are often empty, if not backed by consistent follow-through. False promises also prey on your idealism, tempting you with an idealized version of a relationship that doesn't exist in reality. Boys who are not ready for real commitment will try to sell you a fantasia perfect love story. But love isn't perfect. It's messy, challenging, and requires hard work. Anyone who promises you a flawless relationship without recognizing its complexities is not someone you want in your life. They're trying to create an illusion. Sometimes, these false promises can come disguised as future talk. You might hear, we'll travel the world together, or we'll settle down in this perfect house one day. While it's natural to dream together, when these promises come up too early or too often, they might be an attempt to distract you from the lack of real effort in the present. He's building a future in words, but avoiding creating anything real in the present. At some point, the reality will hit. You realize that the promises he made were never fulfilled, and by then, you might have already invested too much emotionally. The damage is done. You feel betrayed, hurt, and uncertain of who to trust. But it's crucial to remember, the promises weren't a reflection of your worth, they were a reflection of his inability to follow through. We've all heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words, but when it comes to relationships, this couldn't be truer. Words are easy to say, they cost nothing. A boy might say, I love you, or I'll always be here for you. But those words alone don't mean much unless they are backed by consistent, meaningful actions. Love isn't something you just say, it's something you show, day in and day out. True love is built on trust, respect, and effort. When someone genuinely cares about you, their actions reflect that care. They don't just promise to be there. They show up emotionally, physically, and mentally. They check in on you, they support you in difficult times, and they make sacrifices when necessary. It's the little things, the genuine gestures that demonstrate love. A kind word when you're feeling down, a thoughtful text just to let you know you're in their thoughts, or even simply being present when it matters most. On the other hand, a boy who's only talking about love without ever showing it will eventually leave you feeling neglected. He might say he loves you, but then fail to prioritize you when it counts. Maybe he cancels plans last minute, doesn't make an effort to get to know your friends or family, or avoids making long-term commitments. These behaviors speak volumes, even if his words are sweet. The problem with relying on words alone is that they can be manipulated. A boy can tell you everything you want to hear, recite romantic lines, or even promise you the future. But if his actions don't match up, those words become empty. It's easy to say, I love you, in a moment of passion, or when it benefits him. But real love doesn't disappear after the excitement fades. It stays constant and is proven over time. Words can mask insecurities and fears. Sometimes, boys use flattery or sweet talk to cover up their own inability to commit or be vulnerable. They might tell you, you're perfect for me, or I'm not like other guys. But if they are unwilling to show it through their actions, those words should be met with caution. Real love comes with respect for your needs and boundaries, and it's reflected in the way someone treats you, not just in their promises. Consistency is key. A boy who truly loves you won't just act lovingly when it's convenient. His actions will be consistent even when there's no audience. Whether it's being considerate when you're going through a tough time, making plans for the future, or simply being honest about his feelings, his commitment will be visible in the way he behaves day to day. It's about showing up in ways that align with his words. It's important to recognize that love requires effort. If a boy is serious about you, he will put in the work to nurture the relationship. That means making the time for you, listening to your thoughts and concerns, and showing that he values your happiness. Love isn't just about being together, it's about growing together, supporting each other, and showing that you are a priority in each other's lives. When actions align with words, it creates a sense of security and trust in the relationship. You begin to feel safe, knowing that what's being said is true, because it is reflected in what is being done. There's no need to question his feelings, because his behavior confirms what he's saying. But when the two are out of sync, confusion sets in. You start doubting whether his words were ever meant to be genuine, or were just used to keep you around. As you evaluate your relationship, it's crucial to focus on whether the boy's actions match his words. Does he show you he cares, or does he just say he does? Does he make an effort to be there for you even when it's difficult, or does he only show affection when it benefits him? Actions are not only a reflection of how much someone cares, they are also a reflection of their commitment to your well-being and to building a meaningful future with you. Emotional manipulation is one of the most insidious tactics used in relationships, often disguised as love, care, or concern. It can start with subtle remarks or actions that make you doubt your own feelings and perceptions. A boy might tell you, "You're overreacting," or "If you really loved me, you'd understand." These comments can make you feel guilty for expressing your concerns, pushing you to question whether your emotions are valid or not. This is the beginning of emotional manipulation, and it can be extremely damaging to your self-esteem and mental well-being. The goal of emotional manipulation is simple: control. A boy who manipulates you emotionally is trying to bend you to his will without considering your needs or feelings. He may use guilt to make you feel responsible for his emotions, saying things like, "If you leave me, I won't know how to live without you," or "No one else will love you the way I do." These statements are designed to make you feel trapped, to make you question whether you're being too harsh or ungrateful. Over time, you begin to believe that your happiness is tied to his approval, and that's when the manipulation deepens. One of the most common tactics of emotional manipulators is playing the victim. When things go wrong, they'll turn the situation around and make you feel responsible for their hurt feelings. He might say, "You always do this," or "I can't believe you'd hurt me like this." Instead of owning up to his mistakes or addressing the issue at hand, he puts the blame squarely on you. This not only distracts from the real problem, but also makes you feel like you're always the one at fault, even when you have done nothing wrong. Another form of emotional manipulation is love bombing, excessive praise and affection, used to distract you from the lack of real commitment. At first, he showers you with compliments, gifts, and promises, creating the illusion of a perfect relationship. But as soon as he gets what he wants, whether it's your attention, trust, or affection, withdraws and becomes distant. This cycle of intense closeness followed by coldness can leave you feeling confused and unsure of where you stand, making you crave the high of the affection he once gave. In emotional manipulation, gaslighting is another dangerous tool. Gaslighting involves denying or distorting the truth to make you doubt your own reality. A boy might say, "I never said that," or "You're just being paranoid," even when you clearly remember what happened. Over time, this tactic can make you second-guess your own memory and judgment, leaving you vulnerable and unable to trust your own instincts. This is one of the most damaging forms of manipulation, as it erodes your confidence and makes you rely on the manipulator to define reality. Sometimes emotional manipulators will withhold affection or attention as a form of punishment. If you don't act the way he wants, he'll pull away, leaving you feeling abandoned and desperate for his approval. He might say, "I'll only be happy when you change," or "I can't be with someone who doesn't understand me." This emotional withdrawal creates an environment where you constantly feel like you're walking on eggshells, never knowing when he will withdraw again, forcing you to work harder to regain his attention and affection. What makes emotional manipulation particularly toxic is that it targets your vulnerabilities. Manipulators know what buttons to press to get the reaction they want. They might exploit your insecurities or your fears, telling you, "No one else will love you like I do," or "You're lucky I even put up with you." These remarks are designed to make you feel small, inferior, and undeserving of love, making it easier for the manipulator to gain control. It's a slow process that chips away at your confidence, leaving you emotionally dependent on them. Recognizing emotional manipulation is difficult because it's often so subtle at first. The manipulator doesn't come right out and say, "I want to control you." Instead, he starts with little jabs, small shifts in behavior, and comments that make you question your worth. These tactics are designed to keep you off balance, unsure of what's real and what's not. The longer you stay in a relationship with an emotional manipulator, the harder it becomes to distinguish genuine love from the twisted version of affection they offer in a world that often places value on the approval of others. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that your worth is tied to your relationship status. Many girls feel that their value is defined by the love or attention they receive from a boy. But the truth is, your worth is not dependent on a relationship. You are valuable, not because of who you're with, but because of who you are as an individual. The love and respect you deserve should stem from your own self-understanding, not from someone else's opinion of you. When you tie your sense of worth to being in a relationship, you open yourself up to vulnerability. A relationship, especially with someone who isn't fully invested or respectful, can easily leave you questioning your worth. If the relationship ends, or if the boy treats you poorly, you may start thinking that you're not good enough or that there's something wrong with you. This mindset can lead to emotional turmoil, as you'll feel like you're missing a part of yourself when the relationship ends. But your true value never diminishes as it is inherent. Being single does not make you incomplete. You are not missing anything just because you're not in a relationship. In fact, being single gives you the opportunity to learn more about yourself, to grow, and to build a strong foundation of self-love and self-worth. It's essential to embrace your independence and recognize that you are enough just as you are. When you understand your own value, you can enter relationships from a place of strength, not from desperation or insecurity. Often, society places immense pressure on young women to be in a relationship, suggesting that being single means something is wrong with you. But this is an unfair narrative that only creates unnecessary self-doubt. The truth is, being single is not a reflection of your worth, it's simply a phase of life. You're not defined by your relationship status, and being without a partner doesn't make you any less valuable or important. Your worth is not tied to whether or not someone else wants to be with you. When you enter a relationship feeling secure in your own worth, you are less likely to tolerate mistreatment. You'll recognize that you deserve someone who complements your life, not someone who completes it. A healthy relationship is based on mutual respect, care, and effort. It should add to your life and make you feel supported, not drained or inferior. If someone makes you feel like you're not enough, that's a sign that they don't truly value you, and that's a clear red flag. Furthermore, you should never allow someone else to define your value. If a boy treats you as if you are unimportant or unworthy, it's essential to recognize that this is a reflection of him, not of you. His actions and words may cause temporary pain, but they cannot determine your worth. Your worth is intrinsic. It comes from your character, your kindness, your intelligence, your ambitions, and the person you are outside of any relationship. Always remember that no one has the right to tell you who you are or how valuable you are. The truth is that when you value yourself, you won't tolerate being treated poorly. You'll set standards for how you expect to be treated and won't settle for less than you deserve. This self-respect is a powerful form of protection against the hurt that comes from people who do not honor or respect you. When you know your worth, you make better choices in relationships and are more likely to attract people who truly appreciate and respect you for who you are. Another important aspect of knowing your worth is understanding that a healthy relationship doesn't require sacrificing your individuality. A relationship should never make you lose sight of who you are. Instead, it should support your growth and encourage you to continue pursuing your passions, dreams, and goals. If someone makes you feel like you need to dim your light or change who you are to please them, that's not love. That's control. True love and respect in a relationship come from both partners valuing each other as individuals. Both people should feel empowered to be their authentic selves without fear of judgment or manipulation. If you feel pressured to change or to seek constant validation from someone else, it's a sign that you need to reevaluate the relationship and ask yourself if it's truly serving your well-being and growth. Your time is one of your most precious resources. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. That's why it's essential to be selective about who you spend your time with and how you choose to invest your energy. Time should be spent with people who appreciate you, challenge you to grow, and support your personal goals. A boy who respects you will not demand your time without giving anything of value in return. When you guard your time, you are making an investment in yourself, ensuring that your life is filled with purpose and positivity, not drained by those who are just taking from you. Your body is also a sacred temple that deserves respect and care. It's easy to forget that your physical well-being is just as important as your emotional or mental health, especially in a relationship. Boys who pressure you into physical intimacy before you're ready are showing disrespect to your body. No matter what anyone says, your body belongs to you, and you should never feel obligated to share it until you are completely comfortable and want to. Guarding your body isn't about being rigid. It's about respecting yourself enough to know when it's the right time to share this part of you. Often, people may pressure you into doing things you're not ready for, whether it's physical intimacy, giving up your time, or even compromising your beliefs. It's important to recognize when these pressures are being placed on you. A boy who truly cares about you will never push you to do anything that makes you uncomfortable or goes against your values. If someone makes you feel like you're not enough, or that you should be giving more, it's time to reevaluate whether they are someone who deserves a place in your life. Guarding your heart is perhaps the most important aspect of all. Your heart is where your deepest emotions, desires, and dreams reside. When you open it too easily to someone who does not respect you or understand your value, you risk giving away parts of yourself that cannot be replaced. It's not about being closed off, but about being selective. You need to protect your heart by ensuring that the person who gains access to it is someone who values, cherishes, and treats it with the care it deserves. A boy who respects you will understand that your heart is something to be earned, not taken for granted. He will prove his worth through his actions, consistently showing that he is trustworthy, dependable, and kind. Protecting your heart doesn't mean being afraid to love. It means being wise about who you trust with your vulnerability. Trust should be built over time, not given away too easily or out of fear of being alone. Sometimes, in our desire to connect or avoid being alone, we allow our guard to drop too soon. We invest emotionally in someone who hasn't earned the right to our time, body, or heart. This is where many girls fall into unhealthy patterns, giving more of themselves than they should. If you're not careful, you may find yourself in a relationship that doesn't respect you and leaves you feeling drained, unappreciated, and unsure of yourself. Guarding your time, body, and heart helps you avoid these situations by ensuring that you never give more than you're ready to give. It's also important to recognize that guarding your time, body, and heart doesn't mean shutting people out. Rather, it means being intentional about who you allow into your life. Relationships should enhance your life, not drain it. When you choose wisely, your relationships will be full of mutual respect, love, and care. These types of relationships give you the strength to pursue your dreams, be your best self, and thrive as an individual. They should never hold you back or make you feel less than you are. In the end, protecting these three aspects of yourself, your time, body, and heart, will allow you to preserve your sense of self-worth and maintain healthy, fulfilling relationships. Don't let anyone convince you that you owe them your time or affection just because they say the right things. You are not here to please others. You are here to live your life on your terms, surrounded by those who truly appreciate who you are and what you bring to the table. One of the most important things to remember in any relationship is that red flags often show up early. Whether it's a boy's behavior, words, or actions, there are signs that can help you gauge whether someone truly values and respects you. Too often, people ignore these signs because they are either too caught up in the excitement of a new relationship or afraid of confronting uncomfortable truths. However, ignoring these early warning signs can lead to a toxic and damaging relationship down the line. It's crucial to trust your instincts when something doesn't feel right. The first sign you should never ignore is disrespect. If a boy consistently disrespects you, whether through his words, actions, or attitude, that's a clear sign that he doesn't truly value you. Disrespect can come in many forms: belittling you in front of others, mocking your opinions, or disregarding your feelings. If a boy dismisses your boundaries or pressures you into doing something you don't want to do, those are signs of disrespect. When this happens, it's important to take a step back and assess whether you're truly being treated with the dignity and care you deserve. Another sign to be cautious of is manipulation. If someone tries to control or influence your actions, emotions, or decisions in a way that benefits them, that's a major red flag. Manipulation might not always be obvious. At first, it can start with small, seemingly harmless behaviors like guilt-tripping you or twisting your words. Over time, however, it becomes more controlling and harmful. You might start feeling like you're walking on eggshells, constantly trying to please him or avoid conflict. Don't ignore these signs, as they can lead to emotional and psychological abuse in the long run. Lack of accountability is another significant red flag. If a boy consistently avoids taking responsibility for his actions, blames others for his mistakes, or never admits when he's wrong, it indicates a lack of maturity and respect. Healthy relationships are built on honesty, accountability, and the willingness to learn from mistakes. If someone is unable to acknowledge their own faults or refuses to make amends, it shows that they are not interested in building a strong, honest relationship with you. These patterns will only continue and worsen over time. One of the most damaging signs you can ignore is emotional unavailability. If a boy is constantly distant, avoids deep conversations, or refuses to open up about his feelings, it can create an emotional barrier in the relationship. Emotional unavailability often comes hand in hand with a reluctance to commit or make long-term plans. If you feel like you're the only one trying to create a meaningful connection, or if he shuts you out when you express vulnerability, it's a sign that he may not be ready or willing to invest in the relationship the way you deserve. Another warning sign to pay attention to is jealousy and possessiveness. While a small amount of jealousy can sometimes be a natural emotion, excessive jealousy and possessiveness are not. If a boy tries to control who you spend time with, gets upset when you have independent hobbies or interests, or accuses you of things without reason, this is unhealthy behavior. A partner should trust you and support your autonomy. Constant surveillance or attempts to isolate you from your friends or family is not love, it's control, and it's toxic. Inconsistent behavior is a sign that you should never overlook. If a boy acts one way when things are good and another when things are difficult, it shows emotional instability. Relationships require consistency and reliability, especially in times of conflict. If his behavior towards you fluctuates between affectionate and cold, or caring and indifferent, it creates confusion and emotional instability. Consistency builds trust and security in a relationship, and without it, you're left feeling uncertain about where you stand. Trust is another crucial component of real love. Trust allows both partners to feel secure, knowing that the other will act in their best interest and never intentionally hurt them. Real love builds trust over time, through actions that align with words. If someone is constantly breaking promises, betraying your confidence, or lying to you, it's impossible to build a healthy relationship. Trust is earned, and real love is rooted in transparency, honesty, and reliability. Finally, real love is unconditional. This doesn't mean that you tolerate poor treatment or accept unhealthy behavior, but it means that love remains steady even through challenging times. In real love, both partners are committed to supporting each other through life's ups and downs. There's an understanding that no one is perfect, but the effort to make the relationship work is real and unwavering. If love feels like a transaction, where one person only gives when they receive something in return, that's not love. True love is about giving and receiving freely, with no expectations or conditions, dear girls. Stop falling for words. Watch for patterns. Pay attention to actions. And never forget, a real man doesn't just promise love, he proves it, protects it, and preserves it. Choose wisely. Love smart. Guard your heart not because you're cold, but because you're valuable.